I think the biggest missed opportunity is that people fall in love with their product instead of falling in love with their customers.
You're listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 80. This is Tracy Matthews, your Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy and your host today. And I'm super stoked to be here today because I have a very, very special guest. I am so excited that I even use the word stoked, which is a term I used to use when I was in high school, but I still use it sometimes. Can't take the California out of the girl, I guess. But I'm excited to have Marie here because Marie, she's just such an amazing spirit and light. I know that many of you are followers of Marie TV, and you know how special Marie is and how inspirational she is. And it's just been such an honor to have this opportunity for the second time to interview Marie for our podcast. So I'm excited today for many reasons. So some of you may have heard my story before, but in 2009, I closed my first jewelry business, and I knew that I couldn't run away from the jewelry industry forever, but I knew I wanted to do it differently. And I knew that I was going to reach those customers online. And, I really believe in the power of, asking for whatever it is that you need. And I remember at the time asking the universe, I know that I have to, meet my customers online, but I don't really know about building a website. I had a website with my previous business, but I can't say that a lot of the business that I got or the traffic that I got were people that didn't already know me, or it was typically from people who had found out about me from a press hit or something like that if I was featured in a magazine, or people who found about me because I was on a TV show. It wasn't people just finding me organically, and I didn't really understand how to build an online presence that really attracted customers for life. And I learned everything I know about that, at least in the beginning stages, from Marie Forleo. And I really attribute to my quick success in brand rebuild, of rebuilding my brand within 18 months and having one of my most highly profitable months ever after launching my new business. 18 months later, having one of the most profitable months in my jewelry business history ever, to what I learned from Marie. So I'm really excited to pick her brain today and interview her about how to create a connection with your perfect clients via your marketing online. And I share some really great stories about stuff that I've learned from Marie, but this is true, and you're gonna hear it again in the interview, but I wanna just restate it now, because when I started over, I was really focused on building an email newsletter presence. It's not something that I did very well before when I had Tracy Matthews Designs. So I was really focused on it, and I started learning how to write better. I started creating better headlines, and my open rates sort of skyrocketed. And I had a friend who was on my email list, and she said to me, "Tracy, did you hire a marketing strategist? Because your emails are so good." And I was I felt so honored. I was so blessed. I was oh my gosh, the stuff that I'm learning is actually working. And it's true. When you really think about your customers first, anything can happen. So I'm really, really excited to talk to Marie about her philosophy on commitment and showing up for your business, how to lead with heart in your business, how to create powerful connections with your fans, how to build trust online, her ideas of the 4 keys, and so much more. There's so many great insights in this interview. I can't wait to share them with you. In fact, I was writing notes feverishly, and I was so bummed because I couldn't walk away from my recording equipment. My pen ran out. Can you believe that? While I was doing the interview. So I can't wait to listen to this several times again and just jot down everything that Marie said, because she's just brilliant. So let's dive into the interview. During the interview, I reference a training series and a program of Marie's called B School, and you can check those out over on our show notes over at episode 80. You can grab those over at flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 80. All right, without further ado, let's dive right in. Well, today I am very excited because many of you have heard of my guest. You hear me talking about her all the time over at Flourish and Thrive and Thrive by Design. And I have been really excited for this interview for several weeks because it's a complete honor to have someone who I consider one of my biggest mentors on the show today, Marie Forleo. Marie, thank you so much for being here.
Tracy, it's my honor to be with you. Thanks for having me back on.
It's my pleasure. I mean, I'm so excited for this because we're going to be talking about some really fun things about how to create a connection with your perfect clients using marketing. And, I was thinking back, as I was preparing for the interview about I first came across you in 2010, which I can't even believe it's been that long ago, because I opened up an email from a friend of mine that was called, I think the title was Instant Moneymaker Campaign. I totally remember this like it was yesterday. And I opened up the email. I'm like, who's sending out an email that says Instant Moneymaker Campaign? I really was like having some, I don't know if I was having money problems, but I was like rubbing two nickels together at the time, just like kind of scraping by. And I was like, what is this thing all about? And I opened it up, and you had given out this formula, or I think I went to a video or something and read or watched this formula about how to get clients using email. And I tested it and it worked. I got like 10 clients overnight for my yoga teaching business, which I was doing at the time. And I was just like, oh, there's something to this. I really like this girl. So a few weeks later, I think I was enrolled in your first round of B School, which was so fun. And I feel like the rest is history, because I can honestly say that most everything that I've learned from you is really, or learned about marketing has been from you. And it's really exciting, because a lot of the fundamentals that I use to really reinvent myself after I closed my first jewelry business and kind of start over and reach my clients online, I learned from you. And it's just so exciting to me, because now I really work on my jewelry business part-time. I make multiple six figures in that business without having to do that much work. And I really attribute that to what I learned from you and how to create an emotional connection with my clients using marketing. So before we dive in, I just want to thank you for that, because it's been a really incredible journey.
Oh, Tracy, I am so honored to hear that. And I get so excited for you, because I think you know how committed I am to empowering people to create the kind of lives that they want, which include making a difference using your gifts. And of course, having that kind of economic impact on your own life, on your family's life, on your ability to do things that really matter in this world. So you did all the work. I'm really happy that our paths crossed, and I'm so honored to continue watching you just explode. It's joyful.
It's so great. And I just got to see you win a really amazing award. She's the first. You got Mentor of the Year, which is really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a beautiful honor, and that's a great organization. For anyone listening that doesn't know about She's the First, it's a beautiful organization that empowers and educates young women around the world and connects women here, mostly in the States, and I think even in Canada, I'm sure in Europe as well, with women in the developing world who otherwise wouldn't afford to get their education. And so often, I think probably exclusively, these young girls are the very first in their family to be able to finish high school. And some of them are even going on to secondary school. And it's just it's a wonderful organization. So if you're interested, definitely check it out.
It's pretty amazing. It's incredible to hear these stories. Awesome. All right. So before we dive in, I have some really awesome questions that I want to ask you, or I think they're awesome. I hope everyone else thinks they're awesome, but I wanted to just do a little formal introduction in case someone is hiding under a rock and has never heard of you before. So, named by Oprah as a thought leader for the next generation and one of Inc.'s 500 fastest growing companies, Marie's mission is to help you build a life you love and use your gifts to change the world. She's the creator of the award-winning online show Marie TV, with over 25 million views on YouTube, with an audience in 195 countries. She's the founder of B School, an online business school for modern entrepreneurs. And through her Change Your Life, Change the World initiative, every product purchased helps support a person in need. Wow, that's incredible. You are just so inspiring.
Well, yeah, and I'm also a bumbling mess like the rest of humanity too. So let's not let fancy words in a bio like really mask the fact that right now I have a messy bun on, and you know what I mean? I'm in my favorite like ripped jeans and ratty sweatshirt. So that's also true.
Perfect. We were talking in the pre-interview about how you're out in LA right now and enjoying the sunshine and just like kicking back from your hectic life in New York. And it's so nice to know that someone who seems like they have it all together needs like a break too.
Oh, are you kidding me? I would drive myself insane. Like I'm sure many of the folks listening, when you love what you do, or you're ambitious and you're passionate about making a difference in this world, most of us, I'd raise my hand to this. It's easy to slip into workaholism. It's easy to want to do everything 24/7. And so it's vital. And for me, I've learned that lesson the hard way, to put in bumpers for myself so that I don't work 24/7, so that I do spend time in places where I can connect with nature, and I can also get myself into my fitness classes and, do normal things besides being in the computer all day or growing the business or having more creative ideas and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And we all need balance in some respect, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my first question is just, I want to hear a little bit more about your journey, and more importantly, why are you so passionate about guiding entrepreneurs to level up in life and in business?
So I'll keep this really short because I've told my story a bunch of different places. But the bottom line is, when I graduated from college, all I knew was that I really wanted to find something I could believe in, find something I was meant to do. I had this little inner voice inside that said, you've got potential, you've got talent, you've got drive, but you don't know what the hell it is you're supposed to do in the world. And I worked on Wall Street. That wasn't quite right. I worked in magazine publishing. That wasn't quite right. And I finally stumbled upon this new profession at the time. And you got to get, Tracy, this is way back 1999.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, called coaching. And specifically, it was around life coaching and business coaching. And I've always been one of those people who's been fascinated with human potential and always asked myself the questions, well, what's the difference between people who really succeed, sometimes despite the most challenging circumstances, right, in their life and how they grew up, and what makes a difference between them and other folks who just seem to struggle all the time? And so that's always been my mindset. And I found myself in this place where I could actually build a business, not only discovering, learning from, understanding these concepts and strategies around personal growth and business growth, but it also allowed me to do what I love, which is grow as a human being. So when I was working at the magazines, again, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was doing my life coach training at night. I was trying to gain those skills, gain that understanding. And I hit my fork in the road when I got a call from the HR department at Condé Nast Publications, which is where I was working. And they wanted to offer me a job at Vogue, which, of course, top fashion magazine in the world.
Yeah, of course.
Really prestigious. It was like a big carrot dangling in front of me. And of course, steady paycheck, health benefits, all the normal things that a 23-year-old should want. Well, I really took a step back and said, okay, I love this weird, strange life coaching thing, which of course to my logical brain was like, who the heck's going to hire a 23-year-old life coach? Like, this is nuts. You haven't even lived life already. But honestly, Tracy, the prospect of looking at going to work at Vogue and kind of working my way up that corporate ladder, it felt like a death to my soul.
Right, yeah.
Like there's no way I could do it.
I hear you.
I quit that world and struck out to start my own coaching business with absolutely no clue what to do. I had a pile of debt after college. I had no MBA, no roadmap, no safety net. But I went back to what I did in college. I started bartending and waiting tables. And I knew that if I just worked part-time jobs and I did whatever I had to do, that I could figure out how to build a business during the day and how to make this thing come to life. And it was at that time when, again, the internet was fairly new. Email was fairly a new thing. eBooks, man, that was mind-blowing. No one had ever seen that before. And so what I did was really trained myself. I started looking around, getting educated, experimenting, and started to build a small business during the day using all the tools of the internet, while at night I was making money to feed myself and keep a roof over my head. And yes, in those days, it was a lot of mac and cheese and peanut butter and jelly and all that good stuff. And so fast forward, I've been in business 17 years now, and I've been able to figure some things out. And so over time, I've been able to coalesce really how to build a business from the ground up, especially if you're someone who doesn't necessarily have that higher grade business education, or you haven't anyone walking you through it, or you don't have a lot of money, you don't necessarily have a lot of resources, but what you do have is commitment. What you have is passion. And I think now, we're talking, this is again, like 17 years later, the tools that we have at our fingertips and disposal are like nothing we have ever seen before.
I know, right?
ability to build websites. I mean, oh my goodness, my first one, I had to barter with one of my dad's friends who knew HTML, which was a very new thing. And so that's really been my journey, growing something from nothing and then taking it to a globally recognized brand. And now at this point, through B-School, which I know we'll talk about later, I've had the incredible privilege of helping tens of thousands of entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses too. And again, everyday people just like you and I, Tracy.
Yeah, including me.
Yeah. Who don't necessarily have, again, a ton of experience or a big safety net or a trust fund or anything like that, but who have a lot of heart and who have creativity and who have a desire to do things the right way. And I'll also say this, one of the other great things about my journey has been over, especially these past few years, I'd say, I've had the honor of meeting with and interviewing and visiting with some of our most iconic entrepreneurs of this time. People like and Richard Branson and Tony Robbins and Damon John from Shark Tank. And I have to say, from people like you and I to those kind of people like the business icons, I think we all share one thing in common, which is this drive and desire to make a positive impact on others through our businesses. I mean, every one of those people, and I think our most successful B-Schoolers, you included, runs their business with heart. I mean,
that's true, for sure.
Yes. People, like, you're intelligent, you're strategic, no doubt. But I really think the thing that I've noticed most, the most successful and the most joyful people, they lead with their heart as well. So that's really where I was. That's who I am. That's where I came from. I'm just that girl from Jersey who was like, you know what? I got something to say. I got something to do. And, the second part of your question was, why am I so passionate about this? And I think especially now, after 17 years in business, that building a heart-centered, profitable business is one of the most exciting, fulfilling, rewarding adventures that any person can hope to have in this lifetime. And there's something else. I have this deep belief that businesses can and should be a force for good in this world. I mean, God knows we need it.
Yes, yes.
I do think that our world will improve for everyone on the planet. I'm talking socially, politically, economically, environmentally, when there are more businesses run and built by creative, big-hearted people.
I could not agree with you more. And there's something that you said that I really want to reiterate because it's something that has been like a huge theme in what we've been talking about over at Flourish and Thrive over the past couple months. And that is about being committed and also showing up. That is half the battle right there. And staying connected. I mean, I love what you said about staying connected to the heart, because if you're not passionate about this, like, entrepreneurship is hard. Like, no one said it was going to be easy. Like, you have to want it. And, the thing that really makes, I really believe, the difference between someone who ends up being really successful is that they're committed and they show up every day to sort of focus on their dream business.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, over 17 years, just to build off that, Tracy, you're 100% right. It's like, you're going to have seasons of business. It's not all going to be pretty. We have up years, we have down years. We have, up quarters and down quarters. There are times when things are working great and it's beautiful. And there's times when, honestly, it's a shit show.
Yeah.
Everything's crashing. Nothing is working. Your health takes a hit. Something happens in your family. Something happens with your team. Something happens with technology. There's a big bumble in you make a mistake in the core of your business. I mean, none of us get away from those things. So your key on commitment is right on. And if you're not committed, if you're not willing to take a step back and really understand that there are seasons to business, and you might be in winter right now, and you need to hang on, and you need to stay focused, and you need to get recommitted to stay in until spring comes, and then you'll have another season of summer. And then fall and winter is going to come again. None of us escape this.
Yeah, and it's cool because I feel like the winter months, as you say, are really great times to step back and take a look at what worked and what didn't work.
Yes. And those times will inevitably come. And I think one of the mistakes we make is we personalize.
Yeah.
We think that we must be idiots. We must not be able to hang. We can't cut it. We don't have what it takes. And that is just simply not true. One of the benefits I have from doing what I do and having the perspective of tens of thousands of B schoolers and being able to interview people is we all hit these points. But so often, if we don't have community, if we're not talking about it, if we're not honest and transparent and connected with others, we can so personalize it and think there's something wrong with us rather than understanding this is a part of the journey.
It's part of the journey. All right. So that's so great. Thanks for sharing that, because it's such a great reminder. I think that people often do personalize what's happening in their business instead of realizing that it's just part of business, which is important. Yeah. So, I know that better than anyone recovering from a business failure. So I wanted to dive into this like emotional connection piece, because you are really a genius at connecting with your audience and making them feel like you are just talking to them. So you've clearly built a huge fan or base of raving fans, I should say. And, I just wanted to ask you, what do you think attributed to that powerful connection that you created with your fans?
Well, thank you, first of all. I appreciate that. And there's one thing I want to say, and I feel like this is really important for everyone listening to get. If you're on this call right now, you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to this audio, you have the ability to create powerful connections with your audience, and you have the ability to create raving fan customers. I think it's something that every entrepreneur both has an opportunity and the responsibility to do, because that ability to build connections is really a non-negotiable skill if you want a sustainable, successful, and joyful business. Because, think about it, Tracy. Business is all about relationships, isn't it?
It's all about relationships. Robin and I talk about that all the time.
Yes, it's relationships with your team, with your suppliers, with your vendors, with your customers. And I have to say it's really about your relationship with yourself. So we have to understand that as creatives, mastering our ability to connect and create those bonds with others, that's not a should, that is a must. And the simplest way I can explain how to do that is by really shifting your entire perspective in your business. So you cannot have your number one focus be, well, how do I make more sales? Or why aren't more people buying my stuff? Or why aren't more people opening my emails? You have to really shift your entire paradigm and make your number one focus about your customer, about taking care of their needs, their wants, their desires, because your customers have to feel on a deep, soulful, intuitive, energetic level that you genuinely have their best interest at heart and that you are genuinely there to serve them. Because look, honestly, there is no strategy that replaces the importance of integrity and caring. And that is ultimately what the best marketing and the best business is about. So if you were to apply every smart strategy or every smart tool or every smart principle that you could learn in a book or from Tracy or from myself in B School, but you didn't apply that fundamental truth, that deep ability that you have intrinsically to connect with another soul and really understand them and appreciate who they are and their perspective, you'd essentially be wasting your time. So the key question to ask yourself, if you want to have those raving fan customers, if you want to start to create that deeper connection, is anytime you're creating anything in your business, any email, writing copy for your website, writing a promotional offer, ask yourself, get centered on not what can I get out of this, what can my business get out of this, but what can I give? And if you recenter, and it sounds a little out there, but it's not, because all of us know this just in our everyday lives. You can feel people's energy. You can feel when a text comes through. You can feel when an email comes through. You can feel when you walk into a store, whether people are there to try and take your money and get something from you, or whether they're genuinely there to serve and take care of you.
That's so great. I love everything that you said there, because coming from a place of service is really how you grow a business. Robin and I always talk about this. It's like coming from sales from a place of service and then leveraging that to almost dive into this thing that we call the sharing economy, where you create such a great experience for your customers that they just want to share what you're doing with other people and refer you. That's how I've built my jewelry business. That's why I don't work that hard at getting customers anymore, because I get so many referrals these days. It's awesome.
Yes. And that all came from your heart and your genuine, integrous desire to make a difference to other people.
Absolutely.
Can't fake this stuff.
You can't. No, you can't. Okay. So for product-based businesses, like a jewelry business, building trust is so important. I mean, I know this like 100%. And that has to happen online or off. Customers are making oftentimes like a really big investment, and they have a lot of choices for jewelry, obviously. So trust can be built in so many ways, and I'm pretty sure you have some great insights on how to do this. Do you have any words of advice for designers who are trying to build trust with their prospects that they might meet online?
Yes, and this is a great question, Tracy. Obviously, trust is essential for sales, and we have to just ask ourselves, how do we create that genuine sense of trust, especially online, right? Because when we're in person, we have things like our body language, we have things like direct eye contact, we have things of the tonation of our voice, and all of these different methods that are just absent when we're doing business online, which increasingly, I was just watching a report the other day, retail stores are great and we all love going out, but a lot of them are going by the wayside because so much business is happening online. And I think that trend will continue. So I have 4 keys that can really help anyone, and especially jewelry designers, help create that innate sense of trust when they're doing business online. The first one, and it seems obvious, but it does need to be stated, is be genuine and real, meaning you've got to have total congruency between who you are, what you believe, and what you portray about yourself and your business online. So, for example, don't say we on your about page. Yeah. It is just you working by yourself. Don't ever mislead or lie to people in any way. If there's something about your sourcing, if there's something about the material, if there's something about the shipping that you just wish wasn't that way, well, don't lie about it. People will find out, even if they don't catch you in a lie. And here's the interesting thing, Tracy, and I think most of us have proof for this in our own lives. People are emotionally sophisticated enough these days to feel that something is off, even if they don't have proof. Even if there's nothing, on the surface that they could point to and say, that is incorrect, or I have a fact that proves otherwise. People can feel it. So the first one is to be genuine and real. And that includes, of course, your personality. Oftentimes entrepreneurs think they have to be a certain way. For example, they need to be outgoing and they're introverted, or they need to be funny and it's really just not their nature. They're more of a kind of thoughtful, intellectual, kind of quiet type. And so this idea of being genuine and real and having congruency is really, really important. And you can do that through your copy. You can do that through your policies, through your photographs, through everything, how you communicate your business. Second component is to set expectations. So tell people exactly what to expect each step of the way when they do business with you. So make your return policy and your shipping policies crystal clear. You want to be an excellent proactive communicator. You want to handle people's needs and their questions and their concerns even before they ask. So this one is all about keeping folks in the loop every step of the way. I recently ordered a mattress and I was so impressed because the moment I ordered the mattress, the email came and it said, we're going to send you a little link to our app so you can actually track where it's, when it's going to arrive at your house, and then follow up. Great. Here's the tracking number again. Here's where it's going. And I felt so taken care of because all of the expectations, both how it's going to get to me, what's going to happen when it gets here, what happens if I'm not happy with it, all of those expectations were clearly set out. And it gave me a great sense of trust in the company, which of course, has me spend hundreds of dollars
yeah, exactly.
on a mattress that I've never laid on before. So setting expectations, and I think there's some alignment there with jewelry, especially if someone's buying a piece online that they haven't held or tried on. What can you do? You have to challenge yourself. How can you set the expectations in a way that someone says, this person is telling me exactly what I need to know, and even some of what I perhaps didn't think to ask in order to take care of me.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that I do when I follow up is, it's a little bit different because it's a little bit more of a one-on-one process, but you can also use this to, even automate sometimes in after your shopping cart, like your autoresponder sequence after people buy. But just tell them what to expect for the next steps. What should they expect from you? When's it going to arrive? That builds trust too. Awesome. So thanks for sharing that.
And then I have two more. I'll go really fast.
Let's do it.
3 is keep your commitments. So really do what you say you're going to do. So in small ways and big ways, like if you say you're going to get back to a customer with a custom quote, if you do custom pieces and you say, oh, I'm going to do that within 24 hours. Well, make sure it's within 24 hours or less. If you're promising a weekly newsletter, do it every week. Don't send it once a month. So also do that in the small ways to your team and your vendors and your customers as well. So on every level, always look for those tiny ways to keep your commitments, because that trust starts to build. You get momentum, and all of a sudden you become known as someone who's trustworthy. Then the fourth thing, and this one is actually a huge opportunity, Tracy, and it's something a lot of people don't think about. It's huge. Make things right when they go wrong.
Yes.
Look, it is inevitable for all of us that things will go wrong in business. And I got to share, I'm sure you have stories, war stories. Sometimes things can go very wrong.
I'm dealing with something like that today, actually.
They can go very wrong. And whether it is a customer mistake or whether it's your mistake and it's on your shoulders, it's a shipping mistake, something just happens, things get damaged, or people just make honest mistakes. I think, honestly, Tracy, things going wrong is an amazing opportunity to build enormous trust and to actually create a fan for life. If you are willing to dive in, if you're willing to fully listen, validate the other person's point of view, not be defensive, and do whatever it takes to make something right. And here's the deal. A lot of times people can get defensive. And again, I've been there, so I'm not Moses coming down from the mountain. I've certainly made a host of mistakes in this area. But validating someone's point of view and looking to make things right doesn't make you wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I think people get scared, to have these conversations because they're worried. I don't know what they're worried about. I guess it just creates anxiety. I mean, I'm dealing with something right now with a customer for a very expensive set of multiple pairs of cufflinks that I'm working on. Something is not working out the way I expected. So it's going to be an interesting conversation, and I'm terrified, but I have to have it. So
yes. And I would just say, even just to offer, it's like, hey, this breaks my heart, but I am coming to you because I respect you. And ultimately, what is most important to me is that you're taken care of. So let me lay out what's going on. So, let me lay out my ideas, and I would love to hear your perspective. I want to hear all of your thoughts, and we'll handle this together.
Okay, perfect. That's great. That's a great script too. I might borrow it.
Yay!
So for the past few weeks on our podcast, we've been talking a lot about creating an unforgettable jewelry brand and attracting clients for life. So we'd love some Marie wisdom on how to create an unforgettable brand. You have one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And one of the keys, I think, it's a great question that all of us can ask ourselves. So start to think about, what are the different ways that you can surprise and delight your customers? And you can literally start to make a list. Like, take out a piece of paper right now and start to make a list. Another framing. How can you look at your business or your industry with fresh eyes? How can you do things differently perhaps in the competition? And one really fun question to ask, and I always love this one, it gets people very fired up in a good way, is what pisses you off about your industry?
Yeah.
Like, what have you seen done over and over again? You don't have to villainize anyone. It's just perhaps in every industry, there are certain norms and practices that get developed over time that honestly don't make for the best customer experience. And one of my favorite examples of this is Richard Branson with the Virgin Airline brand. Mm-hmm. So legend has it, back before he started an airline, what he and his key team members did was they actually sat down and they asked themselves, what pisses us off? What irritates us? What frustrates us about commercial flying right now? And so they had a big, huge list going. Well, from the moment you get on the plane, the lighting's horrible, the seats aren't comfortable, you have to wait forever to get snacks, there's not great entertainment, the flight attendants, they're kind of cranky, and their outfits are horrible. And they literally went checkpoint by checkpoint by checkpoint. And they said, well, if we are going to design something that we would actually want to fly, we would handle all of this. And if anyone listening has ever taken a flight on Virgin, it's one of my favorite brands. Mm-hmm. you know that they've actually handled all that.
They have.
The flight attendants are in like fantastic snappy outfits, and most of them have awesome attitudes. You can get snacks on demand. They have that kind of cool club lighting with the fog that comes over. The seats are quite comfortable. They make it a really fun and engaging experience. So in terms of creating an unforgettable brand for yourself, you can use that same framework. And that's actually one of my favorite parts of B School, because we do dive deep into all the different ways to do that. But those are some questions that can get anyone started right now, and you can start to just tick off your own list. And here's the other thing, Tracy. I want everyone to have permission to experiment. Sometimes we take our businesses so seriously, and we think if we make a decision that it has to be a decision forever. But if you're thinking about creating an unforgettable brand and you come up with a wacky, outrageous idea and you don't know if it's going to work, why not try it?
Yeah.
Why not try it as an experiment? And if it flops, it can get the hell out of there. I mean, that's what's one of the cool things about running an online business. If you put up a certain promotion or if you try something on a web page and it just flops, you can delete it.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny. I love it that you said this, because one of the things people are like, oh, yeah, so-and-so is doing that and it's really working for them, but it didn't work for me. And I'm like, every brand is different. You can't expect what works for one person to necessarily always work for you. You have to test what works for your brand, because there's no magic pill.
Nope. And there's no secret formula for business success. And we try and communicate that all the time. And I always tell people, there's not a secret formula. There's no magic bullets. Like even in B School, I'm like, we are going to give you a host of proven timeless strategies, but you don't have to use every single one of them. And in fact, some of them might not work for you. And that's okay. But if you don't give it a try, if you don't give it, the effort and the energy or put your unique spin on it, you're never going to know. And if you spend your whole life trying to find the holy grail of perfect business success, I got sad news for you. It ain't going to happen. And your whole life is going to pass you by before you actually have a business that works.
That's so true. Like every business is different, and you have to just see what works for you and run with the things that are working when they're working.
Yep.
Absolutely. So many designers and makers want to hide behind their brands and are nervous about being the face of their company. So for those designers who want to stay behind the scenes, how can they create a brand voice that really connects with their audience?
This is a great question, and I've heard this one a lot. And I do want to say right off the bat that it is absolutely possible to create a really compelling and unique brand voice that's not attached to a single human or not attached to your face. And for me, I often find some of the most inspiring examples outside of anything I do. So I look outside of the business advice or the personal development industries. And one example of a company that I love, anyone can Google them up, Poppin Office Supplies.
I love them.
Yes. And they sell pens and paper clips and notebooks. And again, things that in a traditional sense would be quite boring, right? Quite staid. However, if you spend some time on their site, and I've done it, some of their pop-ups and their marketing strategies, and if you ever get their emails, have so much personality. It feels like you're interacting with a being, like a character. And I'd say another example is Poo-Pourri, the bathroom spray.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, I saw a YouTube ad on them again.
They
recently
have so much personality. It's crazy. We actually did a Marie TV that is a whole brand breakdown of how they do it. It was really fun. But that's another example that is not tied to one specific person, but it is a brand that has a very distinct, compelling voice and has created raving fan customers all around the world. And part of the way that you do this, here's how you execute that. You have to be really crystal clear on your ideal customer avatar. Because if you are trying to talk with everybody, you're going to be talking with nobody.
Absolutely.
Meaning, if you try and reach the masses, your messaging will be boring, bland, and forgettable, especially if you don't want your face to be a part of your brand.
Exactly. We were working on an email autoresponder sequence for our jewelry business, and I put my avatar's name in there as I was writing it, like I was writing specifically to her.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. See, that's how you do it. Because here's the thing. When you're clear on exactly who you're trying to reach and you totally understand them on a soul level, you can use their language. You can really give that feeling that you're talking one-on-one, which of course, that genuine connection is what helps you connect and increase sales. And of course, that's one of my favorite things that we do in B School is teach people how to communicate like a real human.
Yes, I know. I learned so much from you. I tell this story a lot. After I took B School, I started sending out my regular newsletters for my jewelry brand. And I had, obviously there's friends and family on the list. And one of my friends was like, "Did you hire a marketing expert?" I'm like, "Thank you. No, it's just me writing emails."
Yeah, baby. It's just you.
I loved it. So connection can come in so many ways through your messaging and your branding and through your specific marketing strategies and tactics. So what are some of your favorite ideas for nurturing and creating those raving fans for life?
I was thinking about this. I want to offer one simple idea that I don't think people do enough. And of course, there's infinite ways, right? And we talk a lot of different frameworks and strategies. But I think the most underused is actually just checking in with people to see how they're doing with no agenda other than to listen, help, and add value. Tracy, I feel like so often, so many business owners, again, I've been guilty of this myself, so I'm not putting anyone down. We're all in this together, learning and growing. But so often people only reach out because they have something to sell rather than reaching out to demonstrate that they actually care. Hardly anyone is listened to these days. I mean, we know this from our personal lives, right? You go out with your friend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or whomever, and it's like our stinking phones are everywhere. People are starving for someone to say, hey, you, how are you? Like, what's happening? How's your jewelry? Are you enjoying it? Do you have any questions about its care? Just wanted to check in, or, sending them a holiday message. Again, not with necessarily a promotion, just saying, thank you. Thanks for business. So I think that's probably one of the simplest and most underrated strategies that anyone listening to this right now could deploy in this second, in this moment, in the next 10 minutes, and start to create that deeper level of rapport and bond with their audience.
That's so, so, so good. I love that you said that, because it's just as simple as saying like, "Hey, are you enjoying the necklace that I sent a month ago?" or whatever.
Yeah.
And just see how they're doing with no agenda, not trying to sell them anything else, just making sure that everything's okay. Yep. And also just, I don't know, checking in, seeing how they are. I mean, that's definitely, I've become friends with so many of my clients because of that. Like one of them sent me literally 5 New Year's messages. I was like, all right, enough with the shining light of wisdom, whatever, Facebook message. But it's fun because then, they're always thinking of you the next time it's time to buy something or something big comes up. And you're the person top of mind that they think about. They're not searching the internet for someone else. So great reminder. Thank you for that. So what do you think the biggest missed opportunity you've seen jewelry brands or product-based brands making as they're trying to create a connection with their customers?
This one is something we can all fall into, and it's something we have to all watch out for. I think the biggest missed opportunity is that people fall in love with their product instead of falling in love with their customers. They make their number one focus themselves or their business or their brand or how great their website is, rather than making their number one focus with their customers. And again, I know we might sound a little bit like a broken record here, but it really can be this simple, because when you shift your paradigm and your thinking and your entire perspective in this way, the ideas that you get about how to execute on your business, they come flooding in. When you come from this place of falling in love with your customers rather than your product, it's like the creative floodgates open and there are results that start to happen in your business that are not linear. You know what I mean? Things start to show up and it's really exciting. So that's what I'd say on that one.
So fantastic. I love that. So thank you for that. Okay, so you have a free training series coming up, and I want to hear a little bit more about that, and then I also would love for you to share a little bit about your signature program, B School.
Yes. So I don't know exactly when folks are listening to this, but I trust, Tracy, that you're going to put up the link to the show notes or where people can go get the series. So basically what we have is a free 3-part business building workshop. It's all online. So you can watch it from your home or from the road or wherever you are. And if someone listening right now is committed to seriously growing your business, if this is you, I am urging you, this series is a must watch. And the reason why is because if you watch that series the whole way through and you do the exercises and little worksheets that we give you, you are going to walk away with a very clear and specific action plan for your business and some tools and strategies that'll help you create the results you want. And this is what's most important. What I think you're really going to walk away with is a greater understanding of some of the barriers that might be stopping you right now in your business, and you're going to know how to move past them. So in terms of takeaways, what we cover is really the 6-pillar roadmap to starting or growing your business in a very smart and intelligent and classy way in today's world, so that you're focusing on what really matters and you're able to move the needle ahead and let go of some of the overwhelm and the scatteredness that I've seen kills way too many creatives' business. We also walk through the 13 keys to success that I believe every modern entrepreneur should know. So this is me looking at our own business, at some of the top performers and some of our top students and saying, okay, what are the common threads that really do move the needle and make the difference? And there's 13 of them. So we walk you through those. And then we also talk about how to really position yourself. So some key strategies to position your products, your services, and your brand in a way that makes people super excited to say yes, to say, oh my goodness, I really want that. I need to buy that now, and I'm pleased to give you my money. So the free series is really 3 robust videos. And then, of course, we talk about B-School in there too. So if you're interested in mastering those skills and strategies and habits that you need to run your business, you're going to get all that information. If the program's right for you, of course, we would love to have you join us.
And I can attest as a personal case study, of using what Marie teaches, that it's really an amazing program. And I've told this to Marie like so many times, every time I see her, every time I get to talk to her, it's just that B-School really changed my life. And I'm so grateful for getting that email in 2010, because I don't know where I would be today if it hadn't been for that. I don't think my jewelry business would be as successful as it is now. I don't think I would have the same kind of understanding of marketing online or off. And I don't think that I would have the business that I have today at all. It just, everything about this program is amazing, especially if you struggle to communicate your brand story and your message and all those things, because this is what Marie is really brilliant at, is helping you engage and connect and create that emotional connection with your customers.
Oh, thank you. B-School, it's extraordinary. It has grown beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. And I think what I'm most proud of is exactly what you just said, Tracy, is that there is some magic in this program that gives people and empowers them to unleash what they have inside in a way that has never been able to be tapped into before with all the other stuff that they've done. And so for me, it is just a joy to see people completely and radically change their lives. I mean, we've had so many women who are the breadwinners of their family and wind up saying, oh my God, my husband could quit the job that he hated. Or single moms that say, I had nowhere to turn. It was either, me potentially just losing everything or making my business work so I could take care of myself and my kids, to, people in their 60s or 70s or teenagers starting their first business. I mean, the diversity that we have in the program is amazing. And I think that's probably one of the strengths that we have, is you get to learn and connect with so many other kind-hearted, forward-thinking, creative humans who are building their businesses for the right reason. And that exponential momentum you get from putting yourself in this kind of environment, it's just priceless.
So priceless. And it's amazing. So I'll have all this stuff linked over in the show notes. Make sure you check it out. The training series is insane. I go through it every year, and I'm always like learning something new and then reinforcing what I already know. And it's just a really, really awesome training series, and it's free. So make sure you jump on that. And you'll be hearing a little bit more about B-School as well. So Marie, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be here with me today.
Oh, it was an honor. Thanks for having me, Tracy.
Bye-bye. Wasn't that awesome? Thank you so much for listening to this show today. Marie is so rad. I just love listening to her insights and wisdom. She had so many great things to say. And I hope that you will join us over at her 3-part business building workshop that she was talking about at the end of the series. And you can also check out B School. So I have links for both of those over on the show notes. You can check them out over at flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 80. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 80. All right, if you're ready to really build your dream business, I highly encourage you to go over to check out Marie's business building workshop. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And if you're ready to take that next step and really up level your marketing to the next level, go check out B School. And I share Marie's B School every single year because what we do over at Flourish and Thrive Academy, we do teach you quite a bit about sales and marketing, but there's nothing as in-depth about building an online marketing platform like what Marie teaches. And I just love sharing it for that reason in particular, because it really changed the way I approach business. And I know it will change the way you approach business as well. All right, that's it for today. Make sure that you check it out over at flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 80. All right, you guys, I'm signing off. Until next time.